The number one thing that I get from potential buyers is, Holly, I don't know where to start to buy a house. Natural question. You are not born to know everything. In fact, we're really not born to know anything, to be honest. So it is absolutely okay that you don't know where to start when it comes to buying a house. So today we're going to talk about number one, the first step to take when you are ready to buy a house. Now, let me preface this by saying you might not think that you're ready to buy a house, but there are steps to take to get you ready. And once you know what those are, then you'll say, oh, I am ready to buy a house. So let's get to it. Now, I can sit here and tell you all the steps, but I will overwhelm you because there's little tiny baby steps and then there's like the big steps and things like that. So we're just going to start simple and easy. The first step is one, you do need a real estate agent. Okay. Do not try to go buy your first house alone. Okay. You need an agent that is going to be there to guide you through everything because like I said, there are baby steps. So let's make sure that you get with a real estate agent. My recommendation is always to find a local real estate agent. These are easy to find, okay? Because everybody knows a real estate agent. And of course, I am one of them. But you need to have that agent on your side to guide you through these steps. That is just the best way to do it. And then you're not going to have to worry about any kind of legal things or anything like that because you're going to be protected. You wouldn't go into a courtroom in front of a judge and represent yourself. So don't do it in one of the largest investments that you'll possibly be making in your life. So step number one, get with a real estate agent. And if you are in the Central Virginia area, Caroline County, Spotsylvania County, Hanover County, I am very happy to help you and guide you through all of these steps. All right. The next step of buying a house is getting with that real estate agent that you finally found. You want to make sure you're vibing with that agent. That agent's going to have an onboarding call with you to get to know you. You're going to get to know your agent, the whole 9 yards. Okay. The first question that I ask my clients when we are talking the financial aspect of it, because let's face it, finances are a huge part of buying a house. So number one, what is your credit score? Number two, do you have a down payment or any kind of money saved? Number three, what is your criteria? What would you like to see yourself living in? What is a need versus a want? And then we're going to make sure that we are realistically sticking with what those answers are, and we go from there. Once you answer these questions for your real estate agent, then we're going to take the next step of the first step. Maybe we should call these phases because the first phase. So that's what we'll say. The first phase of buying a house. So within that first phase, the next step is going to be your real estate agent is going to refer you to a lender. That's scary. I know it's scary. You're like, oh my God, what are they going to tell me? They're going to tell me things that like I don't know about. And honestly, it can be a little intimidating. And that's another reason why you need your real estate agent, because you want to make sure that you are understanding this process. So whatever the lender tells you, your agent can reassure you of those things that lender told you. So we're going to get with a lender, and the only way for a lender to find out what your finances are like is to fill out their application. And if you are looking for a local lender in the Central Virginia area, definitely hit me up because I have several different lenders that I like to work with and I can refer you to, and they are all rock stars. So we're going to fill out this application, and then once he gets all of that information from you, that's going to be your bank statements, your W-2s, and your social security number so they can look at your credit history report as well. And so that is what is, instead of calling this steps, we're going to call this phases. So there's phases to buying a house. So the first part of the phase, step one was finding your agent. Step two, we're going to get with this lender, and that lender is going to ask you to fill out an application. That application is the start of the financial process. Within that application, you're going to be required to present your W-2s, 2 years of W-2s, your bank statements, and I want to say that's 2 or 3 months. Now, I'm not a lender, so every lender might have different requirements. And then your social security number so that they can run your credit report. And that is going to let them know how much debt you have. And is that healthy debt versus negative debt? And not all negative debt is going to keep you from buying a house. We're getting with this lender because the lender is going to help us through this. If he sees or she sees something on your history, on your credit history, then they're going to ask you to, questions about these and things like that because they are there to help. Now, once you do that and they look over your finances and your bank and all of that kind of good stuff, they're going to give us a number. And that number is a very strategic number. That number is based on how much money you make, how much debt you have, and how much debt you possibly are going to have to accrue when you do purchase your first house. So let's recap. The first step in phase one is going to be finding a real estate agent that you're going to vibe with and that you're going to make sure that they're going to work for you. If your agent is not working for you, maybe you need a new agent. So it's important to interview several different agents and get to know them. Number two, once you pick your agent, you are going to be referred to a lender. It is also important that you vibe with your lender. If your lender does not seem to have a good personality with you or you just don't mesh together, it is okay to say, hey, Holly, can you give me another lender's information? And absolutely, I will. And of course, I'll ask questions and things like that because I need to know for my own sanity why we need to switch lenders. So you're going to find a lender that is going to vibe with you. That lender is going to ask you to fill out that application. You're going to provide a lot of information. They cannot process that application without that application completely filled out to its entirety. Once you do that, they're going to give us a number because, like I said, they're going to know how much money you make, how much debt you have. Is it negative debt? Is it positive debt? They're going to know all of these things. They're going to give us a number and say, here's your number, go shopping. Sometimes that number is a little too low before market value, and we might have to wait a minute. We're going to go shopping for a house. But if that number is a little lower than what we anticipated it to be, then we're going to need to wait a couple months because sometimes those numbers just don't match up to what the market is requiring of buyers these days. So for instance, you may want to buy a $300,000 house, but maybe you're only approved for a $200,000 house. In the Central Virginia area, a $200,000 house is kind of considered a fixer-upper. Those are going to be those cash buys and the ones that need rehab and things like that. Sometimes we find a diamond in the rough, okay? Sometimes. But historically, that is the price range. They're going to need major updates. A lot of loans do not allow for major updates. They want you to have a safe and sound house. And that is going to be another video on our buyer series. So, but if that is the case, if we are at a price point that we just can't find a house right now, the lender is going to give you steps to take to improve your credit, pay off something on your credit, and continue to work with you to build your credit back up and your debt to income ratios down. It's not always a bad thing, but the main important thing that you need to know is that your lender is there for you, just like your real estate agent is going to be there for you as well. We want to see you in a new home. It is the American dream to be able to be a homeowner. And if we can't make that happen for you, we're going to continue to work with you to make that happen. So I never want anyone to feel intimidated or to feel like I'm not ready to buy a house. How do you know? How do you know you're not ready until you take the first step of getting with your agent and lender? You will need to know what those numbers look like so that you know what to work towards. And if your numbers are fantastic and all of that, there's nothing to work on, then yay, we get to go shopping. Shopping is the best part. It can sometimes take a long time to find the house that we want, but hey, that's what I'm here for. And phase 2, like I said, will be our shopping phase. But please do not feel intimidated about talking to a real estate agent or talking with a lender, because they are there to help you and guide you through this process, because you're not a lender and you're not a real estate agent. So you don't know until you get with somebody who does know. That's all I have for phase 1 of how to buy a house. Please subscribe. I'm going to be posting more videos very soon. Thanks.